Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to class today. My name is Kristen. If you haven't come to this class before, extra special welcome. This class is stretch and rest, just like it sounds. So we're going to do some active stretching from seated position for the first half of class. We will move into our restorative style practice for the second portion of class. And anything that we do in this class can be done so many other ways than I'll have time to offer. So if you have a special way of doing something that I don't offer, don't feel like you have to do it this particular way, right? I want you to do it the best way for your body today, right? So you might have to play around with what's best for you. We try to move with balance from one side of the body to the other, but that's not always realistic because sometimes we already have some imbalances, right? So it may not be unusual for you to move through class with one side of your block higher than the other, or needing something a little bit extra under one hip or under one knee versus the other. So I'd encourage you to just play around with that. Anything that feels uncomfortable, add a little extra support and see if that gains some flexibility or just a little bit more shape and space in your body. Okay, so we're going to start in a comfortable seat with a breathing exercise. If you need to be laying down, if you prefer to stand, all of that is okay. All right, so close your eyes. Let your hands relax where they're best suited for you. Maybe your lap. This could change. Sitting up tall, a little bit of engagement in the core to help support you. Take a moment to lift your shoulders up and roll them back. You might like to do this a few times. Go slow. Really think about lifting the shoulders up towards the ears and drawing them down your spine. A nice little stretch there. All right, so let them settle. Sitting up a little bit taller, think of reaching up through the center of the top of your head. Deep breath in, belly expands. Then open mouth, exhale, let something go. This can be a soft exhale. Again, inhale through your nose. Open mouth, exhale, letting something go. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Open mouth, exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. This time through your nose, exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale, 4. Pause. Through your nose, exhale, 4. Pause. Inhale, 4. Exhale, 4. So try to breathe this way on your own. Count to yourself. Pause at the top and the bottom of your exhale. Use your inhale to sit up taller. And your exhale to relax your shoulders. If it is a part of your practice, palms together at the center of your chest. You may like to create an intention for your practice, mantra, prayer, could just be a moment of silence. Deep breath in. And a slow breath out. slowly opening up the eyes. So please keep a soft gaze if that's best for you throughout this class. It's meant to be a class on the softer side of your energy, right? So try to not get your heart rate up and try to just move slow and steady. Take a moment to open up your shoulders, rolling them up and back. And then roll them up and forwards. This can feel really unusual. Okay, roll your shoulders up and back a couple more times. Begin to let them settle. Sitting up tall, we're going to begin to open up the neck a little bit. So if you know you shouldn't be moving your neck around that much, just please be aware of what you're doing, okay? So we'll bring the chin down towards the chest. At the same time, we'll lift your chest up. You might feel a little extension through the torso to help really exaggerate the stretch. Chin down, lifting your chest, shoulders stay back. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. If it's available to move your neck further, take your right ear over towards your right shoulder. Your hands can stay down at your lap. Maybe you like to open up the front of your left shoulder with a little half bind, hand at your lower back, and then place the front of your hand at the part of your little back, your small of your low back where that little curve is, and a little pressure there to help you sit up tall. So deep breath in and a slow breath out. If you like to move your neck around, go for it. If anything informs you, you should stop doing that. Please listen. Deep breath in, slow breath out. All right, so move your chin down to the center, lift up your chest, release your left hand, and we'll take it to the other side. So left ear, left shoulder. This is my tight side, so my shoulder goes with it. So I have to remind my right shoulder to kind of chill out a little bit. And that might mean bringing the fingertips to that part of the body just for a moment of just a little added awareness, right? Sometimes a little touch is all you need to help things relax. If you like that half bind, go for it. Lifting through the chest, deep breath in, slow breath out. Move your neck around if you like. And then bring your chin back down to your center when you're ready. From your core, feel that engagement and then lift up your head. Release your right hand. Roll your shoulders back. Okay, we'll move into our side stretch now. So here's where you might find some imbalances in how you use your supports. We'll take the right hand out to the right. And I use the block here in this height for me. This works for me. Sometimes I flip it up to a higher level if I'm feeling a little extra tight. What you want to be aware of is when you place your right hand down, do you sink down into your rib cage? You want to create space through the torso and not really move your torso that much through the side stretch that we're about to do. It's going to be more about stretching the left side. So you may need to adjust when you get into it. And as you open up, you may need to adjust again. So you can have your hand flat. You can pop up to your fingertips. You can create a fist. Just please be sure you are aware of your wrist, right? Any wobbly wrist things going on there, ground yourself instead. You don't want to body weight to just fall on your hand, right? That would be very painful for most of us. So we're going to take the right hand down, engage the core with your inhale, send your left arm up and overhead. You may not be able to extend that far. You may have to have a big bend in your elbow. These are not problems. These are just parts of what's going on with you. So just go with what's available to you and then extend from there when you can. So we're lifting from the torso, engaging the core, rounding down from the right side to reach up from the left. Big breath in. And on your exhale, maybe the left arm goes up over the head or maybe a little bit further back. Sometimes the shoulders forward. So we got to work on lifting up and going back before we can reach over. Deep breath in, slow breath out. One more time. Inhale, lift up your chest, wiggle your fingers, exhale and reach. Okay, bring your left hand down. This could feel like a lot of blood flow for most of us. When you're ready, move to the other side. Left hand grounds. Inhale, right arm reaches up and over. So if your knees lift up, if you're rounding forward in your torso, this is just indications of tightness and you feel this, so you're aware of this. But you need to support yourself to give yourself more space. So maybe that means sitting up on something or putting something under your knees. Reaching through the fingertips, use your inhale to lift your chest. And on your exhale, reach through the right fingertips. Now my shoulder wants to come forward here. You might be able to see that. So bring the shoulder back. That might mean less of a stretch. It's okay. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to reach over. Deep breath in, lift your chest. Exhale and stretch. And when you're ready, bring the right hand down. So at your own pace, inhale, left arm up and over. Exhale to bring your left hand down. Feel free to stay on one side longer than the other. Play around with the different hand variations and see if one suits you better than the other. Inhales to reach up. Exhales to reach over. So really focus on that stretch between the ribs and the hips. So rib cage down to the hip is where you want to feel the stretch. One more time each side. Maybe you move your neck. Okay, now coming back to your center, shoulders down, lift up your chest. Deep breath in. On your exhale, chin towards your chest. So hands are still out to your sides. Our shoulders are back, so our elbows are facing a little forward, the elbow creases. Deep breath in, shoulder blades squeeze. Slow breath out. Stay here longer if this feels good. Or when you're ready, take a block with you into a gentle forward fold. So our forward fold might be a centimeter of movement. The moment that our butt lifts and we tilt forward, we need to back up or give more space underneath the hands to hinge forward. So find what works best for you. You may need to adjust. Whatever you do, just make sure you're not sinking down into the shoulders, right? We want the elbows to either be rotated in or out, but the shoulders are back. And we want to feel the stretch through the hips, and the hips should feel grounded. So if that tailbone again is lifted up, press it down and then lift up your chest. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Inhale, lift up your chest. Exhale and fold, and maybe you can slide the block further. Maybe you're not on a bolster, right? So you have a whole different experience going on. You can put these blocks underneath your biceps or your forearms if you were very flexible. Inhale, lift up your chest. Exhale and fold. And then lower your head down, a little stretch here for the back of your neck. Core stays engaged, and then walk your hands back towards your body. Let your head come up last. We'll move into our twist now. And keep in mind, twisting is not for all of us all the time. So if we have hips that are out of place, if we have any kind of indication of pain as we move through the torso, just back up the best you can. Go slow if you can. And maybe instead of twisting today, you do something else, maybe a second set of those side stretches, okay? So we'll take the left hand behind us. I'm up on a bolster, so I just take the hand to the back of the bolster. You might have a block behind you that works best for you instead. And then we'll take the right hand over to the left leg somewhere, tilt a little forward in your pelvis, and then sit up tall. Inhale, lift up your chest. Exhale and twist. Lead with your left shoulder. So left shoulder back, and then maybe your neck follows. It doesn't have to. Your head could stay forward the whole time. Shoulders down. Inhale, lift up your chest. Core is engaged. Exhale and twist. Full breath in. Slow breath out. Keep your core in and slowly move back to your center. Wiggle it out if you need to. It's always a wiggle for me on each side the first time around. So right hand behind you, left hand over to your right leg. Sit a little forward, engage from the pelvic floor, lift your chest, inhale. Exhale and lead with your right shoulder into your twist. Maybe your neck follows. Now, if you go forward in your neck, make sure the rest of your body doesn't go with you, right? It's tightness. Sometimes it just happens. So shoulders back, lift your chest. Less of a twist is better. Exhaling into your twist when you can. Full breath in. Slow breath out. Four is in, come back to your center. Take a moment to unwind. And then move at your own pace. Left hand behind you, right hand, left leg. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale and twist. Inhale through your center over to the other side. Exhale and twist. So at your own pace. Inhales create space. Exhales move into that space. So mindful of the knees. Keeping the shoulders down, right? Those are just very common tight places in the body. Your knees will start to bounce, right? When you twist, when you find that place where, oh, there's tightness, the knees kind of pop up a little bit. So then just back up, breathe, let the body soften, and then maybe you can move a little deeper. Maybe not, don't cause an injury. So one more time, each side. And twisting can make you feel thirsty, so please drink water if you are. All right, so back to your center. This time we'll take the hands, fingertips down. You can place them either at your lower back or to the back of your bolster. Inhale, lift up your chest, take those elbows and squeeze them in like towards each other behind you. Full breath in, lift your chest. And on your exhale, walk your hands forward into a fold. Maybe you don't need a block. Maybe you can stay up on your fingertips. If you go up on your fingertips, just make sure the shoulders stay back. Deep breath in. On your exhale, press into the back of your hips, tailbone down. Inhale to lift your chest. On your exhale, maybe you can fold a little further. There's so many ways to fold, right? So just make sure it feels good, whatever you're doing. Lower your head down. Engage your core and slowly walk your hands back to your body. Let your head come up last. Okay, we'll move into our leg stretches. So I'm going to lower to the floor. You may need to add a bolster or a pillow or something like a towel underneath your seat. Just depends on what your hips, your knees, your ankles are doing, right? All right, we're going to start with a separate leg stretch. So right leg out to the right. Left foot could be way far out, right? You might have the left foot into the right thigh. There might be some space there in between that works better. Put something underneath the knee if you need to. Put something underneath the left knee if you need to, or the left thigh. If your knees are up in the air, having support underneath the thigh and the knee is basically essential. So figure out how to best support yourself there. All right, so we'll sit forward in the pelvis and then shift the weight back into the hips, sitting up tall. Take a look at your right foot. Sometimes we are externally rotated. It's really normal. You may need to take your hands and turn the thigh inwards to help just manipulate an internal rotation to keep the hips in place. Set hands to the floor, twist your torso a little bit to the right. Take a look at your right foot and just begin to point and flex. Pointing and flexing. If you can, hone in on your right thigh and make sure it feels a little bit engaged. So leading with the big toe can help you find that engagement in the thigh. And it can be difficult if you have some support like a block underneath your knee to find that. It's going to be a little different. All right, see if you can make some circles around your ankle. And do this in both directions. And then flex your foot. So sit up tall, deep breath in. On your exhale, hinge forward. This could mean just a little bit of movement. We want to hinge forward while we're still lengthening up from the torso. Chin stays in alignment. The moment we round and go into the lower back, we've lost the stretch, right? So leaning back to reach forward, that's not really what we want here. We want to lift up and create space forward. Just letting the body open up slowly. Giving yourself some more support here, like putting something underneath your seat can add instant flexibility to that forward hinge. Deep breath in, lift your chest. Exhale and hinge, elbows in. Maybe you have blocks underneath your hands to help you find a little more space forward. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Press back into the hips equally. Notice if you're leaning to the right side, bring it down to the left side a little bit. Inhale, find space. Exhale, maybe you could fold a little deeper. Keep your core engaged and slowly lift your head back up. And we'll take it to the other side. Left leg out, right foot in. You know your options now. Could be a totally different, shape on this side for you. You might need support in a different place or in a different way. So take a look at your left foot, find that internal rotation of your thigh, hands to the floor, a little twist through the torso. You want to center your chest with your toes, right? Deep breath in. On your exhale, begin to fold. And remember that fold does not include a round. Think of it as just folding. It's flat and it's folding. So the minute you kind of fold or round into that fold, you back up, find that alignment first, and then move from there. And sometimes it's a very small little stretch, okay? So just breathe. Let it be okay. If you force it, you'll just get hurt. Speaking from experience. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. And then slowly come back up. Take a moment to flex and point. I did forget to do that first, but we'll be all right. Pointing and flexing. And then circles in both directions if you can. For me, that really wakes up the thigh. All right, so for here, now we're going to bring the heels in towards each other. For some of us, this means heels are going to be far away from the body. It's no problem. Just make sure you rock a little left and right and sit up tall. And you'll take your hands either to your ankles or place them underneath your feet. Elbows will stay in when you fold forward. As you open up in this shape, heels will come in closer to the body, right? So just go with what's available to you. If you can bring the heels in pretty close, but the knees are still up in the air, put a pillow underneath your seat. Wedge some blocks underneath your thighs, all right? Hands underneath your feet. Inhale to lift your chest. Engage your core. You might feel your chest press a little forward. Elbows in, and then with your exhale, hinge. I like to think of my elbows as kind of a runway for my torso to hinge forward. Elbows stay in close. Tucking your chin. You might be leading with your chin instead. Inhale. Exhale. Belly button in. Inhale, let your belly expand. Exhale and fold. It can be tough to do both of those things at the same time. All right, lower your head down and slowly roll up. Head comes up last. Use your hands to help your knees to bring them back towards your body. We're going to move into a seated forward fold and then into our restorative style practice. So both legs out in front of you. Flexing the feet, rock a little bit left and right. It may be comfortable for you to have your hands on blocks here and you just stabilize sitting up tall. This could be your stretch. This can still be a lot of work. When you're ready to hinge forward, just begin to move forward with your torso. You might take your blocks a little further out in front of you and hinge from there. You may not need blocks at all. You might need something beyond your feet. A lot of us are this tight, right? It's no problem. And then you wrap something underneath the feet, spiral the elbows in, inhale to lift the chest, and on your exhale, hinge forward. And this might even look like knees bent, hinging forward. It's still the same fundamentals of the stretch. And it's a better way to open up the body slowly than forcing an injury, especially in the back of the knees. Deep breath in, slow breath out. Lower your head down and slowly roll up. Try to feel the different vertebrae. Head comes up last. All right, so we'll move into our first restorative shape, which will be a chest opener. So grab your bolster, and if you don't have a bolster like this, you might take a bunch of big pillows and wrap them together with a scarf or something to that effect where it can support the torso. And then something maybe additional for your head if you can't quite get the length down. So I'm a tall person. This is a tall bolster. This works well for me. There's a lot of different bolsters that you can get out there, right? Different heights, widths, and some of them are adjustable. If you need a little bit of height, little incline, maybe you have a cough, some allergies. It's pollen season out here. I don't know about where you live. So you might take something underneath your bolster, prop it up, and this gives you a nice incline. This is also good if we have some lower back issues, or if we just need to be more mindful of how we're breathing. Alternately, you may like to have a pillow on top of the bolster because it's just comfortable, all right? So you lower it back over your bolster. I push the bolster up to the lower back. That works for me. That I know that that's going to support my lower back when I recline over top of it. If you recline over top and your butt goes up in the air, that means you need to put something underneath your seat or adjust the bolster to a little bit of an incline so you can let the lower body relax. And sometimes that's just a matter of tightness. That's not a matter of height. So, the body lifts up and contracts to protect itself. So we have to just, give ourselves a little grace there and support ourselves a little better. So here the heels can be in, the toes can be out, arms down by your side. Sometimes arms out wide feels good. Just make sure that you don't feel like you're hanging out too much in the front of your shoulders. That's a very vulnerable spot. And we'll be here for multiple minutes. So if you begin to feel pulling, too much stretching, maybe there's like a little spasm or jumping in the muscle, you need to put more support underneath you and let those places soften with support. Okay. So do what you need to, blocks, pillows under any part of the body you need it. If you like a weighted blanket, this is a nice place for one over the top of you. Closing your eyes. With an inhale, let your belly lift up. On your exhale, relax your shoulders. Deep breath in. On your exhale, try to soften your hips. And that might mean rocking a little side to side and then stillness. Deep breath in. Just try to think of feeling heavier through the arms and your heels. Keeping your eyes closed. And relaxing the space between your eyes. Relaxing your jaw. Continue to breathe slowly on your own, scanning your body on your own. Anywhere you feel tightness, contract and then let it go. So if you are not used to a restorative practice, there'll be about another minute or so here of quiet, and then I'll let you know when it's time to move. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. You are welcome to stay in these shapes much longer. It is a shortened class, right? A lot of times we had much longer when we were in studios back in the day for this style, but we have an abbreviated class, but you can stay as long as you want. Take a moment to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Let your arms move across your body to close your shoulders. If you ended up in a hip opener, or if your heels just feel like they're really in and your toes are out really wide, turn your toes in towards each other. Just hold it there for a moment, breathing in. Slow breath out. So allowing those hip joints to close before we move. So let everything go. Take your time to slowly come up to your seat. This can be a big back bend for some of us, so go extra slow if you think that's you. I know that's me. Okay, so into our forward fold. We did an active forward fold before this back bend, so now we're going to do a passive forward fold. And just like any other shape, there's about, 35 different ways to do this. So pick the one that you think is best for you. You might even invent one that's better for you, right? You can have your legs wide, although do not go into your full range of motion. Reel it in a little bit. You can have your legs together. If you go legs together, think of putting something underneath the knees to support them so you don't have any downward pressure on your knees when you're folding forward. And then just make sure that you don't need to put something underneath your seat to help your pelvis tilt forward. You may be able to just fold over this bolster and that works great for you. But you might be going, there's no way I'm going to reach the bolster from there. So you just need to build something out at the end of the bolster to give you an incline. Put something on top of the bolster to bring it closer to you. All right. This may take many adjustments. It's okay. And when you're ready, fold. All right. Airplane pillows work really well here. Those neck pillows that are the U shape, because then you can just look straight down. But if you don't have that opportunity, just look to one side. And then if you can, about halfway through, and I'll remind you, look to the other side, but that's not available to everyone. So ultimately do what's best in your neck. And it's okay to round your spine here. One of the few occasions in yoga. So let the shoulders hang. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Close your eyes. Scan your body. Notice where you can maybe become a little bit softer. You may open up and find more flexibility. You might inch things a little further out in front of you. But try to keep the body soft. And if you like, you might look to the other side or turn your neck to the other side. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Now, when you're ready to move, bring your head back down to center and keep your chin a little tucked. And then slowly begin to lift up from there. So always just trying to get back to that neutral spot or closing those open places in the body before we move. After you're spending time opening up joints, you make things vulnerable. So it's important to close them before you move on. All right, so we're going to do a pigeon today, different than what we normally do in a lot of my previous classes. It's been a while since I've taught this in restorative. You may prefer to do more of a figure 4 with lots of support under your spine, maybe a pillow underneath the knees if that's the reclined shape that you choose. So I'm going to take the left knee and just bring it out in front. Take the right leg and slide it back. This is going to be a very gentle version, right? So we're not worried about having the foot out here like we would in an active class. It's very much okay to bring the heel in, even all the way in towards the inner thigh. And if you like to keep the right knee out like this, and you prefer to have the bolster at an angle to the side and you want to fold forward that way, that is a very accessible way. It is not a wrong way to be in this shape. Just make sure you can breathe. Now remember, you can do all the stacking in the world. Okay, this is the moment we are turning the hip forward. This is going to add the element of a hip opener. right? So this is where you're going to probably need some additional support just to feel better in this shape. So maybe you set up a pillow for your knee because you know there's going to be some downward pressure there. So you bring the knee down, and you might even like to have something under the ankle as well, right? And then you take your bolster however you like. I like a little angle here, so it supports my torso. I like to support the belly button all the way up through the chest here. All right, and then this, because it's on an angle, lets my shoulders be forward and lets the elbows lower down. Keep in mind, like I said, there's so many different ways to do this shape. So you just want to have the left knee in a place that feels safe. If you feel pain in the front of the left knee, you need to get out of this shape, and you do that by rolling to your left hip. And then just make sure anywhere else that you're having pressure downwards that feels like it could use support, support it. Supporting yourself in this shape will give you incredible amounts of flexibility. And then you go to an active class later on, maybe, and you have a whole new experience there. So something for your head might be important to support you. You might be able to just bring your head down and look to one side instead. Or if you have that airplane pillow, straight down. I'll let you know if you want to move your neck to the other side in just a little bit. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Shoulders are soft. Letting go of any core engagement. You might wiggle your hips a little bit side to side and then let it go. And then notice what you're doing with your toes. Sometimes we are so trained to be in this shape, the toes are under, or they're actively pointing straight back. So it's okay to turn the toes a little in and let the heel fall open. If you have support under the front of your ankle, hopefully you aren't flexing anywhere there and you're able to be soft. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. In this particular shape, we have a tendency to begin to tense back up about 90 seconds into the shape. So you may already notice that your left glute might be engaging. Try to let it go. Left hip, you might be leaning to one side a little too much. Just things to notice. You can go ahead and change the shape of your neck, looking to one side differently, if it's available. And then back to your center, a little tucking there of your chin. Place your hands down and push yourself up. Now roll to your left hip. And now the knee just goes out again in a comfortable position, right? Kind of a neutral position. And we're going to move it to the other side. So you might need to pick up your bolster and take it with you. Now the right leg will be down and the left leg will slide back. Remember, you might need totally different support here. Okay, so if you bring the knee down, that adds your hip opener. So just make sure you don't need support under the knee, under the top of your foot. You might even need support in this like little free airspace, right? Sometimes that's not wrong. Sometimes you really are that tight that you need to put something there. Shove a little like towel under there or something. All right, so I like to support the belly button up through the torso. You may like to start somewhere different. Just depends on where your balances and imbalances are. So bring the head down. We'll start by looking to whatever side you like. I would say pick what side you did first on the other side. So you balance it out the best you can. Checking in with your shoulders, your hips, your feet. It's so easy to engage the toes and the feet and not realize it. And maybe you look to the other side. And bring your head to center when you're ready. Hands under your shoulders, slowly push yourself up, rolling to the right hip. And then opening up through the hips and then closing them, all right? So now we're going to set up for our final shape, which is going to be, we'll call it legs up something. So for some of us, that might be legs up the wall. For others, that might be legs up a bolster. Maybe you have a chair nearby that you could prop your legs up on. That's an awesome sort of way to elevate, but still give yourself lots of support. Alternately, you might prefer to have your chest elevated, legs elevated. You can do both, or just do your chest, okay? Any kind of Shavasana is totally fine. This is your practice. I am going to go for a little elevation under the bolster. And sometimes when I lay down, I have to adjust this, so don't feel weird if that happens to you. So lower back close. If you're up against the wall, lower back and butt are going to be up against the wall. For me here, it's going to be the bolster. And then lowering back. From here, take the feet up. You may even like to bring the soles of the feet together into a hip opener. All right, just be aware of where you need to add support. Arms down by your sides with your palms up. You can have your head flat on the floor. You can use a pillow, right? There's so many options here. Let your eyes close. And just scan your body here. Notice your toes and your ankles. You might notice little sensations if your feet are elevated a lot. If your legs are up the wall, you might notice how you get little kind of rubber bandy feelings going down your legs the longer you're there. So just try to let it go when the muscles want to engage. Let go of the thighs, your core. And use these last moments in class before we close our practice to really try to hone in on letting go, becoming heavier, and slowing down your breath. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. So you're welcome to stay here longer. When you're ready to move, take your arms across your body. If you ended up in a hip opener, extend your legs, turn your toes in towards each other. If your legs are up on the wall, there's really no glamorous way to get out of it. So just take your time rolling to your side. And wherever you are, take your time rolling to your side, and I'll meet you at your seat. Okay, so your seat should be comfortable. It does not have to mirror my seat. Inhale to lift up your chest, close your eyes. On your exhale, forceful exhale through your nose. You might feel this in the back of your throat. 2 more, inhale. Exhale, cleansing the lungs. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Normal breathing now. If it's a part of your practice, again, Anjali Mudra, hands to the center of your chest. Thank your mind and your body for what it's capable of today. And as always, give yourself that important compliment. Say something nice to yourself for taking time out of your day to take care of yourself. And I thank you all so much for taking time. Thank you for joining me, and you call this yoga. Namaste. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Preston, I see you're in class. You guys, if you're in Raleigh, Preston runs the nonprofit, the Great Raleigh Cleanup. And I don't know if you can access the chat there, Preston, but you could put your website in there or your Instagram so people could check it out. So again, that's the Great Raleigh Cleanup. He's doing some things around Raleigh to clean it up. So please check it out. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you all soon. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.